So I grew up in a Christian home in Sydney, lived in Sydney most of my life. I moved to Queensland only just over 2.5 years ago now. So I've lived here for that small period, and excited to see God working in my life in that way. Yeah, well, I mean, I suppose state the obvious. At the current time in my life where I am, studying obviously to be an officer in the Salvation Army, I would very much hope so, and know that God is in that, is a very big part of my life in that journey. He's leading me through that. He's guiding me the whole way. I'm doing it for Him. Believe that this is what He wants me to be doing. So there's no doubt in my mind that He's at work in my life in this stage. Yeah, one of the most challenging times, I think, of late would have been that move that I made to Queensland. It was stepping into full-time ministry for the first time, so it was a big deal for me, packing up my whole life and moving interstate on my own to a place that I had never heard of in Gladstone. And so, yeah, there was a lot of fear there. It was a really big challenge in my mind, mentally as well as physically, geographically. I had a lot of doubts on myself at the time. Am I going to do this? Am I going to be able to do it? Will I cope? Will I be back here in a month's time because it's going to fail? So, yeah, that was a big challenge for me in fully trusting in God and making that step to go, yeah, I know I can do this, and packing my things and making that move. One particular thing that just came to mind now actually was I was having a lot of conversations with people, obviously around that move and taking that step, and I remember saying the words along the lines of, I don't know if I can do this. And I remember quite specifically Mum saying the words back to me, well, you're not doing it, God is. And that's kind of really sort of floored me and set me back and went, yeah, that's exactly right. I'm not doing it, God's doing it. And it was something that really helped me to change that mindset and just go, you know what, I can put my trust in Him because He's the one doing this, not me. I'm just being obedient. Well, a couple of things, I guess, that I saw God's hand on in that. One of them being a house to live in. I went up to see Gladstone for a weekend and have a look around. I had a day to go and look at some houses and line some up, and when I got up there, they sort of fell one by one. One of them became unavailable, one of them was just really bad, and then, yeah, something else happened with another one, and I thought, I'm struggling here, I need to find a house to live in. And it was a Saturday afternoon, so real estates aren't normally open, and I managed to come across a lady in a real estate. She said, oh yeah, I can show you around a couple tomorrow if you like. I thought that'd be great. And she had one to show me, and went and saw it, and I thought, well, this is really good. Can I go in for it? And within a week I had that confirmed that I now have a place to live in. When it wasn't looking like only a few weeks out that I didn't have anywhere to go to. So that kind of helped feed into the doubt. But then we sort of try to rush things in our mind when God has His own plan and timing on it. So yeah, that was really, really good to see Him working in that. It's hard to describe. The only way I can put it, it's just an overwhelming sense of peace. Another part in that, in accepting that position, that job, was at the same time I had the opportunity to go back to the police academy, and that was all. That had been my goal for the last 7 or 8 years at the time, to get back there. And I literally had it on my doorstep, and I was doing so much praying and thought, what do I do here? And just the peace. It's hard to describe the peace that God just poured over me when I thought about the opportunity that God was giving me to go and serve Him. It was just a no-brainer. It just stood out as, this is what I need you to do for me. So it just made it an easy decision in the end. couldn't do life without him, really. I'm especially in the things that I'm doing now. I'm living every day to try and serve him better, and not just being cadet, trying to be an officer, a minister, but realise more and more that I couldn't do life without him by my side, without acknowledging what he's doing in my life. He's just evident in everything that I have, and so I couldn't do life without him. Is the basic way to put it. Yeah. So it's funny, it was always something that was in my mind for some reason or another. Obviously when I was younger, used to laugh at it, think, well, that's crazy. I was never the outgoing, extroverted sort of type. I would never even want to stand up the front of the stage. Even if I didn't have to talk, you wouldn't get me up the front. And so to think of the prospect of that being a part of my life down the track, it was laughable in my own mind. But like I always say to people, God will get you in the end. If he wants you, he'll get you. So it was a sort of, over the last few years, like I said, when I've made that step into full-time ministry, he sort of put the notion in my mind that, you're doing this because it's going to lead to that officership path. He made that clear. That was the deciding factor in my mind. It was, where was I going to feel more proud and comfortable, on that parade ground at the academy or on the stage being commissioned as an officer. When I thought of that in my mind, I just got those warm fuzzies and just felt that peace I was talking about. So a couple of years into the job in Gladstone, and God really laid that conversation back on my head again. I sort of felt him say, well, what are you doing about it? And I thought, well, what do you mean? Like now? You want me to take that step now? Yeah. That's why you're here. That's what you're doing. Now's the time. I went back and did some devotions. I've got a book. My Bible has a lot of devotions through it. I think I peeled through about 8 or 9 of them that afternoon. Just kept reading. I'm going, you sure? Are you sure? And he just made it so clear. It was just getting questions like, what are you doing to serve God every day and show that you're committed to serving him for life, and different things like that. And I thought, it's pretty clear. This is the time, and this is what he wants for me. So I think it's stuff I'm learning now, obviously going through the studies, is to get a bigger understanding of what it means to know God and what it means to serve him, what it means to be a Christian. So I'm excited for that greater knowledge and understanding. And one of the things I sort of said recently when someone asked what one of my goals would be as an officer, and I said I really want to know that at the end of my time that I've served well enough, and that I guess, yes, God is responsible ultimately, but as his servant I've been responsible for people coming to know him, that I've impacted people's lives so that they've come to know who God is. That's my goal.